Hello everyone on this beautiful evening. We have the new moon tomorrow, Earth Day tomorrow, St. George's Day on Thursday, lots of things coming up, activation happening in the earth, and you can see it all around with the green, the waking up of the earth at the moment, and that's what St. George's Day is about. It's about the activating of the earth. The dragon is the energy lines of the earth, and these energy lines are stirring. You can feel that happening in nature, can't you? That stirring, that shifting, that movement. It's so prevalent when you walk, when you look around you, that real rising up of the earth, that stimulation that's happening all around us. And it's such a beautiful thing, that rising up. And having Earth Day, I think, is, Earth Day and St. George's Day next to each other are very powerful times, powerful activation times. And, we're in a situation now, aren't we, which isn't easy. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's great, I can have time at home with my family, I can have time, not working, it's really lovely. But on the other side of that is the mental health issues that are happening all around, the challenges that are everywhere, the financial ruin that this is bringing to a lot of people, the stress and strain of suddenly all being confined under one roof. There's a lot of stuff going on that isn't just sunny and rosy. And that's a really important thing to honour and be aware of, that there's so much going on in so many different ways for so many different people. And we have to acknowledge that. For me, being totally honest, this is a mixed blessing. It has its moments of joy and its moments of me wanting to rip my hair out and it being really challenging and really hard. And I thank God that I have practices that I can use and tools that I can use to help bring me through this, because it's not easy. And I look at my 8-year-old who is struggling hugely at the moment with anxiety, with mental health issues because of this situation. And, I look at my husband, his work has totally gone. It's not easy for people. Yes, if you're employed and are on an 80% salary and you get to sit in the garden and enjoy this beauty, then that's an amazing thing. And if you get a mortgage holiday for 3 months, that's incredible too. There's a lot of amazing things for people being able to stop and smell the roses and have time and think about our life and the way our life is living. But we have to acknowledge all sides of things. And for me, one of the things that's come out of this is having to, again, revise how I look at my self-care, revising what that means and what that looks like, because I had it down pat before. I was like, okay, my littlest had just started nursery and just really got settled into it, so I had time and space in my life to really grow my business, to grow me, to focus on that again. If anyone's got a 2.5-year-old at home and an 8-year-old and a 15-year-old, it's challenging. It's not easy doing all that and trying to work on a business and trying to look after yourself. That's a lot of different balls you're juggling all at once. And I throw my hats off to everyone in this situation doing the same, because there are so many people doing this. And for me, one of the things that has been my guiding light is just getting into the earth and breathing and just releasing into the earth and honouring the majesty that is all around us. Even with the shit flying everywhere, there is such beauty and such majesty and such healing and such support available for us. And one of my things that I've been doing as well with that is asking the universe for help and guidance. Every day I ask the universe to guide me and support me and help me make the right decisions for my family, help me know what to do for my middle child to help guide him through this time when he is really losing the plot. I ask for the universe to guide me. I ask the earth to show me the tools that I've got at hand to help him. And it's simple things like that we can do that are really powerful. But we have to nurture ourselves first. We cannot give from a place of lack. We cannot give from that. And that's when I know when I start to get really stressed and overwhelmed, that's what's happening. I'm not topping myself up. So then I don't have the coping mechanisms to deal with anything. And yes, it's more challenging to do that now because there isn't the time, there isn't the space, there isn't that, I'm just popping to the gym for half an hour kind of thing. So we have to find other ways to do that. And one of the things that I've started doing again, which I haven't done in a while, is journaling. In bed, when I go to bed, just journaling what's going on, and also journaling my goals and my dreams and my aspirations, and doodling. It's been a real joy to just doodle and see what comes out. No purpose for it, just creating for the sake of expression and release. And that's such an important thing, that release of our soul, that everything in life is in breath, out breath, in breath, out breath. And if you're always breathing out and giving and giving and giving, then where is that in breath? How are you going to renew that breath so that you can keep giving out? And that's what's such an important thing. Tomorrow I'm doing a free webinar on healing ourselves through our connection to the earth, which I'm really looking forward to. I hope you can join me on that. The link is on all my pages, it's everywhere. It's on the event page on my website, which is juliettebryant.com. So go onto the event page and click there, and that will send you then the Zoom link for tomorrow's session at 7 p.m. And that's going to be a great webinar. My work has been shifting and changing as we grow and as we evolve. And, I used to be very much about showing people how to make food and all that side of things, which I still do and is still really important. But connecting us on a deeper level, the energetics of life are so key, so important that we look at that deeper resonance with things. And, so many times, and I think this is a really important thing, people think that we've all got our shit together all the time, and no one does. No one's got their shit together all the time. Sometimes the cards fall, and that's okay. And it's about picking them up, pick yourself up, dust yourself up, and start all over again. That's really important. And knowing that some days the homeschooling is not going to work at all, and some days it's going to really work, and that's okay as well. It's that, again, it's the in-breath and the out-breath, and going with that and diving into that deeply. And that's one of the things that I've been working on with my mentorship groups that I've been doing. I've got a new one starting in just under 2 weeks, and a few people have been asking me to talk more about that and what it actually entails. What does it do? What is the purpose of it? And really, for me, as I said, my work has changed so much, and it's about connecting people deeply into themselves through their connection to the earth. When we tune into the earth, and when we tune into the earth's wisdom, it really returns us into our own wisdom. It's that empowerment of our being to the next level. On some kind of cosmic level, we are evolving. We are stepping into a new dimension, or a new dimension of existence, of being. And in that stepping in and that stepping up, we have to let go of things. Things have to fall aside. And that's what's happening with the world in general. And I feel that my role at the moment is to create a container, a vehicle, to hold people and to support them through connecting them back in deeply to themselves and the earth. And this is a practice I'm working on all the time with myself. And that's the key, isn't it? The more we work on ourselves, the more we have to share with others. And for me, the way of strength is through vulnerability, through softness. There's lots of ways to skin a cat, and that's a horrible expression. I can't believe I just used it, considering I wouldn't want to skin a cat ever. But there's lots of ways to get to the same end. We can be or we can be soft and vulnerable and open and opening our hearts, and that's how I like to teach and be. And it's through that softness and vulnerability and creating that container of support And being that light, that's what I try to do. I just try to do what I can for myself and then share that with others. Because the more I do that, the more I can help guide people to that same space. And that's what I do on the mentorship program. That's what I do with all my work, is create that container for people to sit in, so that we can really move to this next level, so we can step up, we can step into ourselves, we can step into our power, we can really rise up in our fullness, in our beauty and our majesty, just like the earth does, just like the earth is at the moment. There is nothing more beautiful. Well, in fact, there is, but for me in this moment, there is nothing more beautiful than apple blossom. It's exquisite, and I could sit and look at it for hours and just trip into the majesty that is nature. But we are that same majesty. Like, that is in us. And that's such a powerful thing, that the majesty of nature is our majesty. And when we can see that, when we can feel that, when we can tune into that, there's no stopping us. We can really connect into our purpose, into creating that vision of the future that we want. Because at the moment the cards are up in the air, we're in a state of change, of flux, and it's through flux and change that we can create powerfully the vision of life that we want to create. It's when we have that chance to stop and reassess, when everything gets pulled out from underneath us, that we can look at what we actually want and don't want. We can look at what's working and what's not. And that's what I do with my mentorship, is I create a space for people to really dive deeply into themselves, so that they can understand the root of what they're doing, so that they can look at things with a different set of eyes, with their own eyes, deeply, and they can start to consciously create their life, as opposed to being pulled left, right and centre. And that's a powerful thing when we create from that space of consciousness. What do we want? What do we actually really want? Who are we? Like, who really are we? Well, we're beautiful, divine beings of light. And when we can remember that, magic starts to happen. The magic that is happening all around us, we start to see. Because it's like that thing of gratitude, isn't it? Whatever you focus on is what you attract into your life more. So you focus on fear and negativity, and that's what you're surrounded by. But you focus on the joy and the beauty of life, then that's what you see more of too. And it doesn't mean that in every moment it's always going to be perfect. You know, as I've said, my middle son is really not in a good space, and that pulls me down sometimes. And that gets me really stressed and upset, because I want to be able to help and support him. But sometimes the help and support you can give someone is just by being strong in yourself and by stepping back and breathing and letting them breathe instead of trying to fix. As someone who spent her life working as a healer, that's something I always wanted to do. I always jumped in to fix everyone. I wanted to fix everything, everyone's problems. But that's not what it's about. People have to fix themselves. What we have to do is stay strong in ourselves so that we can be the holders of space, not trying to fix anyone, because we can't fix anyone. Everyone has to take that responsibility and that power themselves. And that is such a key thing to be aware of. So through my mentorship program, through my free webinars, there's one tomorrow night at 7, as I said earlier, which is healing ourselves through our connection to the earth. And through those programs, I really help guide people to transform their health, to transform their life, through food choices, through emotional choices. So if you want to have more energy, more vitality, if you want more clarity, more focus on your purpose, if you want to really tune into the earth and your inner wisdom and be able to understand what your body's saying to you, then this is the thing that will help you. This is one of the ways that I can guide you to really step into yourself. The body is like it's sending us messages all the time, and half the time we don't understand those messages. Half the time we're not listening. It's like a radio and we've turned it down. And so the body's trying to tell us things, or the soul, and we're just not listening because the radio's down. So it's about fine-tuning that radio so that we can start to hear those subtle messages that the body is giving us moment to moment. So that then we can guide our life by this true, deep connection with ourselves. And how beautiful is that? And for me, one of the keys to that is returning to all the time, we are part of this earth. So just as that beautiful apple blossoms and those blossoms turn into fruit, so we follow similar patterns. We are beautiful, beautiful divine beings. And when we can step into that joyous space, magic really does unfold. And sometimes we go off that path and sometimes we come back on it, and we need reminders, don't we? And that's the other thing with the mentorship that I've created, is a space for 12 weeks where I remind you, I hold your hand and I guide you. And I allow you to be in a sacred, safe space to make steps to change. One of the things is, people often say, oh, it's so hard to do all these things. It's like, yeah, but you remember to brush your teeth without thinking. So we can put other things into place slowly and gradually without it being an issue. Because just like we're able to brush our teeth, so we can do other things. And they can become just part of our daily life and our routine. And yes, it takes work. And yes, you have to be prepared to step up. That's the thing. We're not going to fix anything without putting in any energy. So often people just want that quick fix of someone to just go, it's all done. You don't need to do anything. But there's no real growth and it won't last. We have to, I think, understand the motivation, the reasonings behind things. It's like drinking clean water. If you don't understand why it's important, then it doesn't matter to you. You're just going to keep drinking tap water. But when you start to delve into that and you understand it on all your levels, you start to feel it, you can make conscious choices. And that's the thing that's taken away from us so often in our education, in life, is information to be able to make conscious choices. And that's what I like to help people connect into, is information on a soul level, information on a mental, emotional and physical level. We are more than our physical being, but we have to look after our physical being, just as we have to look after our spirit. How many times, do you see people who are really fit and healthy and well physically, but emotionally or mentally or their soul is just not fulfilled and they're unhappy? We have to fulfill all those levels. We have to work and we have to understand what we need. And the thing is, it's constantly changing. So we have to constantly adapt to that. And that's why by learning to tune into those things, by learning to listen, we're able to adapt. Because one food might work for you for a while and that's great. And then your body goes, I don't need that anymore. But if you're not tuned in, then you'll just keep force feeding it that thing. When your body's actually saying, no, stop. I want to move on to this now. And I see that so clearly with my kids. Kids are, especially when they're little, before they get to like 4 or 5, they're these amazing beacons of light of what they need. My littlest at the moment, who's 2.5, he goes through fads with something. At the moment, it's carrots. He just can't get enough of carrots. Before that, it was cauliflower. And it's constantly switching because he knows that he needs a different nutrient and he wants lots of that thing. And that's all he wants to eat, pretty much. He'll eat other things, but that's it. He just wants to focus on that one thing. And then he switches and he's bored of that and he doesn't want that. He wants something different because his body is asking him and he's listening. So remembering to listen to your body. And we all know the truth when we really tune in. So if you'd like to do more work with me, if you'd like to find out more about what I do, I've got a free webinar tomorrow, which is at 7 p.m. Go to my website, JulietteBryant.com, and sign up. You'll get the Zoom link when you sign up for that free webinar. It's under the events page. Any problems, message me. So I've got that free webinar tomorrow. I've got lots of videos now on my YouTube channel, which is Juliette's Kitchen. So check me out on YouTube and watch any of the videos on there. Some fun songs that I've been doing, which are great. So go and have a look at those. As I said, I've got my mentorship program coming up, and it's a very small group. So if you are interested, there are still a few spaces, then I can have a free call with you to find out more and see if it is the right fit for you. I've got lots of products on my website. I make my own superfood mixes and have written some books. So for those of you who don't know about it, do check out my website, which is julietteBryant.com. And I hope that this has helped and been informative, and lots of love to you all. And remember to breathe and connect into the earth, and remember the magical divine being that you are.